Every year, it is estimated that roughly 6.5 million cats and dogs enter U.S. animal shelters, and out of these 6.5 million animals, roughly 1.5 million of them are euthanized. This is simply because there are too many homeless animals coming in and not enough caring people willing to adopt. This is a very depressing statement and one you can help improve. Hi everyone, my name is Austin Norton, and today I'm going to tell you why you should adopt a pet instead of buying one from a pet store or breeder, and some common misconceptions and myths about animal shelters. Let's start off with some of the reasons why you should adopt a pet instead of buying one. Like I said earlier, according to the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, or the ASPCA website, over 6 million animals go into shelters every year, and over 1 million of these are put down due to overcrowding. This is partially due to there being too many aspiring pet owners who choose to shop for a pet in a local pet store or from a breeder as opposed to adopting a rescue animal from a shelter. Many people choose to shop for pets in stores because they believe these animals have been exposed to better conditions than animals from shelters. But what most pet owners don't realize is that most of these dogs purchased from stores likely came from a puppy mill. Puppy mills are exactly what they sound like. They're essentially dog factories. Dogs born and raised in puppy mills are subjected to harsh and often cruel and unethical treatments and conditions. Many puppy mills will house up to 1,000 dogs under one roof at a time. Because of this, they are very overcrowded, and puppies are often kept in small wire cages with little room for movement or exercise. And because of this, many dogs will receive injuries and cuts on their paws and or legs. On top of this, puppy mills are often unsanitary and abundant with parasites such as fleas and worms. Due to these horrible conditions, puppies often develop poor social behaviors and are prone to diseases that often lead to death. By choosing to purchase a dog from a local pet store, pet owners are unknowingly supporting these inhumane puppy mills. Roughly 2 million puppies are sold every year to stores and breeders from puppy mills. When you choose to adopt a rescue animal from a shelter as opposed to buying one from your local pet store, you are helping take away business from these cruel institutions. I'm not saying that pet stores are cruel institutions, as they generally take pretty good care of animals that they've purchased before selling them, but the sources they purchase animals from are often unethical businesses that place profit above all else, including the well-being and livelihood of the animals they raise. Each puppy or dog adopted from a shelter is one less dog purchased from a puppy mill, which is one less reason for these mills to stay open. Another obvious reason for adopting a dog or cat as opposed to buying one is that you'll be saving a life. When you adopt a pet from a shelter, you're giving that animal another chance at a happy life. Odds are that had you not adopted that pet, they would not have been adopted at all and would have eventually had to be put down. Animals adopted from shelters are animals that have often been neglected and or abused before coming to the shelter. While all animals are deserving of a loving home and family, these ones need it the most. When you save an animal that's been in a shelter, not only will that animal be eternally grateful to you, but you'll know that you've made a difference and have saved a life in the process while inspiring others to do the same. A third benefit to adopting a pet as opposed to purchasing one is that adopted animals that are rescued from shelters are often already house-trained and are used to being around other animals. Personally, my family recently adopted a puppy from a local breeder, or I shouldn't say they purchased a puppy from a local breeder, and since then I've had to clean up after it at least once a day for over the past month. Like I briefly mentioned, dogs from puppy mills are not given proper opportunities for interaction with other dogs. And because of this, they are prone to social abnormalities. Animals from shelters, however, are raised with other animals and get to interact with them frequently and regularly. Because of this, rescue pets often get along better with other animals than animals bought from stores. Well, at this point, you'll hopefully agree that it's ethically superior to adopt a pet instead of buying one. You may still be tempted to shop for a pet due to some common misconceptions and myths regarding animals. One common myth that dissuades potential pet owners from adopting a rescue is the claim that shelter animals are often dirty and have behavioral and or health problems. For the most part, this is untrue. According to Ace Dunlap, Director of Operations for the Cleveland Animal Protective League, or the APL, Most animal shelters most animals from animal shelters are regularly groomed and have up-to-date vaccinations. Shelter employees are also given adequate and necessary training and information needed to take care of and maintain these animals. Most animals that enter shelters are family-ready animals that are perfectly suited for adoption. Occasionally, they will receive an animal with behavioral difficulties due to being mistreated at a previous point in their life, but this overall is a pretty rare occurrence. Animal shelters take far better care of their occupants than puppy mills. Another common myth that often dissuades people from adopting is the belief that it is more expensive than buying an animal. Again, this is generally untrue. Every animal in a shelter has already had a generous amount of money invested in them. These animals have already been both vaccinated and spayed and or neutered. These treatments generally cost around $500, which makes the price of adoption a steal, as adoption fees generally round out to about $250 or less. This is far cheaper when compared to the price of buying an animal from a pet store or breeder. If you've gone to our local pet store in Newburgh, you may have noticed that puppies will often sell for over $1,000. This is not that uncommon for pet stores, and this often comes before the costs of vaccination and fixing. So it is no doubt that pets are an important part in the lives of many people, and that these animals deserve a chance at having a loving family and a happy life. Overpopulation in shelters and abundance of homeless animals is a serious problem in our country. It is important that we do our part to help this issue by doing something as big as adopting a dog from a shelter, or as small as spreading awareness about it and dismissing myths and rumors that only serve to make the issue worse. After today, I hope that next time you're in the market for a pet, you'll consider adopting a rescue animal from a shelter as opposed to buying one from a breeder or pet store. Thank you.